Hello everyone, good afternoon, welcome to our first ever podcast. Today we actually have a few things to celebrate. You would actually notice at this point I've got an important guest all the way from GQ Town.
Of course.
Welcome.
Representing.
Yeah, welcome an old friend of mine. We actually go back. That's one of the points that we're going to be celebrating today. We go way back to, we actually are 25 years old in friendship at this point.
You just want to, it's like 25 years, it's like, yo, hell, that's a full human life.
Exactly, I know. It's an adult life actually. Someone who's 25 at this point, they are working, they have kids, they have a car, and yeah, they've got some serious bills to pay.
Yeah. But fortunately, at least you are married and you just celebrated your 5-year or your 4th anniversary. Yes. Yes. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. Dude, okay, so first thing is it's definitely a milestone, something that we are celebrating, and I'm sure for quite a number of people that see us on social media, some I'm sure have had enough of our celebratory pictures and videos and all that.
See, I'm lying with them. I know, don't put this one. Don't put that. Like, I know, we're going to put it out.
Yeah, or you've actually just put out too much. This is a lot now, yeah. Just give people a break. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's something for us to celebrate, mainly because first of all, I'm the first to get married from my mother's side of things. And us actually making this much progress in marriage, first of all, so we had no models. There was no one modeling this thing in the manner that you could see 24/7. So some people had the privilege of seeing their mom and dad waking up in the same house, going to work from the same house, come back to the same house for a while, and they've seen them fight and resolving their issues and all. We didn't see that. Most people who have heard me speak, I come from a child-headed home. So now this becomes something to celebrate because of one, I don't want to see anyone coming out of the same circumstances I came from. I would wish that for my worst enemy. So one, we're celebrating the fact that we could last for so long. We're hoping we're going to last for a lifetime.
Yeah, of course. We're going to make sure that you stay together.
Exactly. And it's not...
for actually keeping you. It's like, yo, thank you, you just helped us, Let me tell you a little bit of a story. I got married 3 years before you guys, right? It was celebrated our 7th anniversary in February. And then Mandilakhe would be so tired sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't want to go to his own place, and he comes and sleeps over at our couch, not during the day, not for the night. Just so that I think maybe he wanted some people around. What was happening at that particular time, where even alone he would probably tell you of similar stories. And I had to tell him, Ngule, it's just a phase. Because I was right. So that's why I'm thanking Norma that he actually sort of came through and came right at the right moment. But what was happening?
I think, remember that we grew up as a group of chaps. We actually we tackled the issues of life together. You always had that sense of brotherhood and that camaraderie, where you actually knew that you were not alone in whatever that was happening. You could actually be facing life in general. Because remember, in PE, by virtue of us being born again, we actually grew up in church, and I think that's one of the things that separated us from the general public. You couldn't just make friends. You knew that you had friends that had a sense of direction, sense of purpose, and that kind of brought us together. Now, people getting married then meant guys were moving away from the group, or one step at a time, and it was actually a proper thing to actually move into, because of it was part of the growth stages. We needed to actually organically get into that stage. But I think then also with us then letting go, because of remember now we actually have to find new spaces to go and find people with similar lifestyles, way of thinking, values, and all of that. So I think just to transition out of that, and I think I actually think it was also one of the things that led to me then moving into the state of understanding the new stage we're in, maturity. the need for us then to actually accommodate other people. Remember, at that time, I already had my house, so I was staying alone, and now I think
we're one of the first ones to buy a house.
Yes, yeah. And so one of the things that would happen, so one of the things that would happen is you go home, and if ever you actually just don't have anyone to go to, you know, I started saying yes, and the walls start talking. So you're like, okay, let me go and be amongst people. Yeah, so that was.
So it's funny that we can try and script ourselves. I don't think it's possible because this is the first one. We didn't script this one.
Yeah.
And as we are talking, I think some memories will be conjured and we'll be able to sort of reflect on them. And for any reason, if there's something uncomfortable, of course, we can always say, no, let's keep this one for a later day. When maybe the audience gets to know with who we are in a more qualitative manner.
Actually, I just interrupt you on that because of as much as and thanks for the celebratory aspect of our anniversary. And I believe that today is also a big day in your own life. Happy birthday, my man. It's been a number of years.
I'm actually 39 this year. So I'm one more year to 40 and I'm excited about it. I feel like I've done everything that I could in my 20s, in my 30s, just to get to the kind of person that I am today. Not everything happened on time, and there are certain things that I was ahead of, there are certain things that I was far behind. There are certain things that we as a family are ahead of, there are certain things that we are far behind. And but holistically, when you look at where we are as a family, and myself as Olwam, I'm in a sweet spot. I love where I am. So I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm 39. This is how a 39-year-old looks. So no. Talk to us about this 25 years of friendship. How did we meet? Do you remember anything? And what were the first impressions? I have a few as well. I'll reflect.
So I think mainly what comes to mind first of all is where we met, which was in school. We actually went to a public school, a DAC, so for those who know Itembelihle, it's still there even today, but I think things have changed. But that was the foundation of our friendship. We were 13 years old. I was 13.
Yes, I was 13 as well. I was turning 14.
So, and
I'm a year older than him.
Yes. Yeah, by the way, so right. So you can calculate how old I am then. So yes, we were 13 at the time, and I think there are a few incidents that comes to mind. Firstly, but we met before we went to family to the SEO, because that's a story for another day. So we met before we went to the SEO.
Let me quickly tell the story of the SEO. SEO were our crushes at the time. We used to go to this classroom 10, I think. After the session finishes, my English just runs out the window. But at the end of the session, we'll all come and hug, and we'll then get a chance to hug these girls that were our crushes at the time. And that was good. That was a big thing. And just to give perspective, so because of, I think also some people will never know this part unless thinking about it. So, but make it clean. Just to also bring perspective, so where we come from, so we've always talked about how poor we were, and it was not an easy thing for any girl to get attracted to us. So we were even more, I think we would fall on the side of being nerds at that time, and boring. Not even clean, and we just maintain standard cleanliness and wear the right pants and just be in uniform. But there was nothing about us but
nothing attractive. So it was not. We were not the guys that you would look at ordinarily at school, unless it was a matter of school, like did you do your homework, or then we excelled in those. And I think when I'm saying, let me bring perspective to that, then that's what made us excited about going to that lunch break session of the SEO, because there, one, we didn't know anything about church. I was not born again at the time. Olwam was not born again at the time. And I mean, so we literally just went there with the mindset that girls actually give you a hug. And there were girls we were eyeing, which we already also knew that they were out of our league. But they told us that those girls went to that session, and we knew our best bet to actually have any form of exchange with them was to be there.
Yes. One thing about, I had been sensitized about Christianity even when I was doing Standard 1, which is now grade 3. There was a trust teacher, Mali, was his village. One of her daughters was roll call, I forgot the elder one. So she had sensitized us. We used to pray, we used to know, we understood things about getting saved, getting born again, and all of those things in class Standard 1, Standard 2. And then all of that dissipated when I was Standard 3, 4, 5, because I went to a different school, it was a little higher primary school, this village. Then reconnected now with the whole message of faith. So it was not necessarily, it was all new at the time, but I think that is when I actually took it seriously and I actually had to accept the faith myself.
Yes. At least you had that, and I think we did have a conversation around that at some stage, but for me it was the first time. Now firstly, in my house no one went to church, so church was just nothing that I actually had any point of reference concerning. We definitely prayed at school in the prior years, but I mean it was just that prayer at the assembly and all of that, but it was not anything significant. Started getting a sense and direction and the revelation, all of that business, where we actually start talking Christianese when I was actually a determined.
I went to a Sunday school. Yes, my grandmother took me to Sunday school, which the church was literally in front of my house, so there was no way of escaping. So on Sundays we knew that you wash and then you just go across the road. Khabe's village, 2009, Presbyterian church, Presbyterian Sekhabe. So at least there was even that. I did Sunday school things, man. I wrote assessments. I don't think we've covered much of that, even in the 25 years.
I think it's
becoming much more biographical, more than anything. But
Okay. No, I actually didn't have the privilege of. I know that I lacked that aspect of, growing up in church and the Sunday school aspect. I got into church at the time where I think I took it serious because it was my personal decision. Then also I think the benefits came by virtue of me personally understanding what I got myself into and also seeing it transforming my life in the way it did up until now. It was actually because of but I mean, I definitely want my son to actually grow up through those structures and with the proper guidance.
Maybe now that we're here as well, dude, we did Sunday school in East Catch during this time of the year. We also better we are there, we are count. We all have roles. Upumlani Klemeza, Ubobi. I haven't spoken to him in a while, I don't know where he is. So there's that part, I think, maybe that's what I'm saying, it's biographical part, because even after that, I write a little bit about the earlier schools before we met in my book, especially about playing rugby and all of that, and karate, which was not really part of our friendship at all. But it's actually something that I'm getting ready now to be able to talk about the whole psyche as to who Olwam is. But before we do that, okay, we're not going to do it in this podcast.